we're rolling. So where are you at these days? So where are you living? What are you doing?
Oh, okay.
What does life look like for Arthur Jumanji these days?
Yeah. Firstly, it's not my real name. It's just my pseudonym for good reason because I was a cop for a number of years, as you know, in Australia, and the audience won't know that. But moved over to the States because my ex-wife is American, and my boy, and she got a job here, and she brought our young boys over, and I thought, yeah, let's try and start a life there. It didn't quite work out, but I'm definitely staying here for the boys who are like 6 and 8 at the moment. A lot of times I'm sitting around and I'm watching the streets, and I'm like, oh, this could be like a street in Melbourne where I used to police, but just done a little bit differently. So yeah,
what
so I'm
does
over
a
here.
day, when you say out on the road, like, so you just drive around in a car all day? What does a typical day look like for you?
What's patrolling as a police
Yeah,
officer?
yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Most of the time, especially in this place, you're attending radio runs rather than self-initiated tasks, which was more like what I was doing back in Melbourne, mainly because I worked in a unit where we were a bit more proactive, and we weren't the main sort of van for a particular area. We were like a backfill unit. So when we weren't doing protests, because that's essentially what we're doing, we're public order. So when we weren't doing that, which is a lot of the times we weren't working at protests, we would backfill suburbs and help out and all that kind of stuff. And we would do self-initiated tasks. So meaning we're like basically just like looking to see if there's if there's someone that need to be spoken to because it looks like they're doing something suspicious or whatever it may be. Just proactive patrolling, pulling over vehicles, doing all that kind of stuff. But here it's different. Here there's usually more than enough work to go around, and they've got to just do the call outs to jobs. So that's what it seems like I'm doing at the moment. I mean, there are proactive and units that do that kind of stuff, but they've got really strong Fourth Amendment rights here, which is rights on interacting with the public, like without warrants. You've been an instructor, you've been a police instructor before, which maybe the audience doesn't know either.
I will get into
So,
that.
yeah, we can get into that. So don't be that jerk, because I know what it's like when I've been instructing, and you'll get some cops come in, and they obviously know a bit as well. Or they've been instructors themselves, and some are really good and they just listen, and they're like, well, what would you like us to do now? That's the type of person I wanted to be going through. What would you like us to do now, sir? Kind of thing. So apart from small moments here and there, I was happy that I sort of did that without causing too much trouble. But their differences.
Hang on a second. You said too much trouble and too often. So you're the kind of guy that finds it hard to not speak your mind. So how did you not speak your mind all the time when they're saying stuff that I've got this experience? I
just kept like repeating that in my head. Like every time I'd start slowly with a question, so an innocuous kind of question, and then I would gauge like if the instructor was receptive to what I was saying, and I'm like, okay, thank you. So you've got to like light more up, and I'm like, oh, so like, have you guys ever thought about lights, like having lit flares? Like we got those back home, like that. Firstly, they flash red and blue, so like that's police. For court, you do the test later on, but they are far more accurate than like you trying to like look at a person's eyes and see if you've got like an nystagmus, which is like a shuddering of the eye, which occurs involuntarily when you're intoxicated. Along with like the walk and turn test, and then you hold your foot in the air test. So the stand on one leg test. So we're getting people to run those tests, and I'm like, that's so subjective compared to just getting a person to blow into this device and it takes so much longer as well. And they're just like, oh no, this is less accurate than the field sobriety testing. I'm like, oh, so I'm just like, I'm doing this. I'm just like trying to bite my tongue.
That's the
Came
one.
down to far southeast, which is actually near where PTC is, the home of PTC. For you guys watching, yeah, it's not far from there.
Oh, there you go. So I had a lot of fun. I'm not a gun person, but I had a lot of fun that day.
Yeah, I know. How good are guns? I like guns, but I don't like gun violence. Put it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not one of those guys. But yeah, guns are awesome. So look. Anyway, I was policing. I started in Victoria Police. I started like 2010, right at the end of 2010. So 2011 graduated. And then I started to realize like we would do our requals once every 6 months, right? And that's like the only time you're going to be shooting a firearm. They don't get you into any extra firearms practice or anything like that. So I'm like, hang on, like shooting a firearm is kind of like playing like tennis or any skill-based sport. It's skill-based, shooting a firearm, grip, technique, trigger control, very like detailed controls. Like you detrain very quickly when you're shooting guns. So I'm like, you know what? I enjoyed it a little bit, but I need a place to continue developing my shooting, because if I ever need it one day, I don't want to be thinking what I'm doing. I want to just act and respond to the threat.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to shoot with Victoria Police Pistol Club, which is defined as a civilian club, but they only really accept current and former police members. So it's pretty much where all their members are. So become a member there. That's what we shot that day. I was a member of another club as well towards the end. And really so I developed my shooting there. But they had this form of shooting, which is more like a target shooting kind of competition, which is what we did on that day. We're just standing and shooting. But even saying that, I remember you were like, oh my God, like you were breathing really hard and your heart rate was high.